Imagine having access to over 100,000 ATV and side-by-side parts at any time, all in a facility that's over 20 acres with fields of organized ATV and UTV frames, literally numbered in the thousands. Imagine having the resources to rebuild nearly any engine in the off-road industry and the manpower to do up to 2,000 engines a year. Or how about having a shipping facility to safely package and deliver over 120,000 orders a year? Ordering an online part is as easy as clicking a button, but there's much more that goes on behind the scenes to get that part to your doorstep. What started out as a simple eBay business in a garage has turned into what's now the largest used parts provider in the ATV and UTV industry in the country. As you can imagine, an operation of this scale is a lot to manage. We're about to get a first-hand look at exactly what goes on behind the scenes. I'm here in Norfolk, Nebraska to have a closer look for myself, and I want to take you along with me. At the end of the video, we'll sit down with the owner to see how it all began. Let's have a look at Powersports Nation. The day is finally here, guys. You guys have seen me talk about Powersports Nation, I don't know, every single video. And you've probably even seen this building in my little ad breaks. That's because this company is freaking awesome. They've backed me for a few years now, and anytime that I ever need a part, they usually have it. They've got to be the #1 parts provider, I think, in the country when it comes to used parts. It's a family-owned business. The people here have been absolutely amazing. I don't want to get into talking too much because I'd rather just show you. So let's go inside, and I'm hoping that Todd's around, the owner. If he's not, then I drove halfway across the country for nothing. But so I'm gonna be with you guys today. I actually don't know where I am other than being at Powersports Nation. We're gonna go on a tour together. And we've got Cameron Dickey right here. My man. And I think you're gonna be the tour guide for today, right?
Yes, I am. I'm gonna be giving you we call it the nickel tour. So what we do is we just show you around, show the different operations that we have and the different sides of our business.
All right, who's this guy?
Good to see you, Michael.
What's up, Todd? How are you?
Talked so many times.
Yeah. So we've all met before on a couple occasions, and Todd's kind of become like dad #2. Really though. Really just appreciate what you guys have done for me and everything. And before we get to the sappy stuff, man, let's take a look at this place.
Yeah, it's great. So what we're going to start here is customer service. We have a couple more guys that work remote, but these guys up here are front line. So we pride ourselves in our customer service. These guys are really helping everyone understand what they have. You would be pretty surprised how many people don't know what kind of four-wheeler they have. A lot of people call in and they say, I got a red four-wheeler. Well, there's a lot of different red four-wheelers made, and sometimes guys have their wives call, and so then we're playing phone tag with them, trying to figure it out. But all in all, our customer service is here to make sure that everyone can get the right part for the right machine. Coming over here, we got Ben. Ben's our general manager here. He makes sure the day-to-day operations keep moving along, and he also is very instrumental in our engine department. But we'll head over to teardown.
Hey, Cameron, real quick.
Yes.
Is there like a story behind this?
Okay, it's named Jake. So Jake was I don't want to say a prop, but he was an attention getter at a show that we went to. And so these are all parts out of different pieces and machines out of our salvage department. So this is a Sportsman 800 head. This is a shock off of a Ranger 800. These are all cam chains. These are lug nuts off of a Polaris. You're gonna hear a lot about Polaris here. Different spark plug tools and spark plugs. A-arms down below. So pretty much he is built completely out of parts. Yeah, we had a guy out of Pierce not far from here. He built it out of his garage. He just went through all of our trash and built it, so.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Like he went through the dumpster and he's like, yo, look what I got you guys.
Literally.
Can I get a 10% off?
No, we gave it to him. So he's all movable and he articulates as well, so.
It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing just to be built out of parts. He's very heavy though. Very heavy.
I bet.
Sucks to move. Yeah, we'll just keep on with the tour. Damn, Michael, you're gonna make me self-conscious all day.
Why is that? Mike, here's just some dumbass safety glasses.
I hate safety glasses.
OSHA might be here.
Yeah. OSHA who?
If I see OSHA, dude, like on my steel toes on. Dude, you guys are like the Croc boys.
No, Ian and Liam are Croc boys, and they're terrible.
I can see welding sparks going in the holes. They're like, and just keep going.
Yeah. Okay, Michael. The Michael Sabo.
Okay, Cameron.
Okay, so this is our teardown department. Right now we have 6 full-time teardowns, and these teardowns, they're able to process roughly 30 to 40 machines a week. They're bringing anything in from 2022s to 2023 model machines, all the way down to 1986. They process all different makes, models, and brands. Like here, we have a Honda Talon. I believe this is a 2021 Honda Talon.
I have a question, Cameron. Is there anything that you guys won't part, like a Chinese quad or something?
Well, it just depends. So depends on the market and what it needs. Sometimes a Chinese four-wheeler isn't worth parting out, but a different model side-by-side is worth it. Some parts are just unobtainium. And so it just really depends on the make and the model, and with our different software systems, that allows us to process it and know what we need to part out, and so we're not just parting out anything.
Like, how long will it take somebody like this to, like this Talon right here, how long do you think this would take to part?
8 hours, Cameron. Yeah, Cameron thinks it'll take him about 8 hours. This is another Cameron. And so like a Ranger 800 or a Ranger 900, they can have it from start to finish to frame in about 4 hours. It just depends on the machine. So some machines are extra rusty. Some machines are, halfway torn apart. Just where we get our different machines, they come in all different sizes and variations and conditions. And that's really what affects the ability to tear it down. Because if a machine lived in a feedlot in its entire life, it's full of rust, we're going to throw away most of the machine, but it's going to take a lot longer to tear down. So if you notice here, some things that he's doing is he's marking where they're at, but he also has 3 different color paint markers. So depending where it's at on the machine, if it's on the right-hand side, it's red. If it's on the left-hand side, it's white or blue. And so that allows us to process these.
That's really smart.
Yeah. So it's just different tips and tricks like that we use to allows us to process them and identify them quicker as we're processing them through our systems.
Now, is there like a margin of error for that? Is there you sometimes find like ones that
sometimes we just mess up. We're humans, so there are errors. But the cool thing about our business is we have multiple checks. So one person checking is Cameron on teardown, and we got Sarah over there. She is actually our inspection person. We have Chad on the four-wheeler side, and then when we shelf it, we're also checking parts again, and then when we ship it, we're also checking parts again. And then the computer guys upstairs, which is my team, we're checking parts visually and part number wise again. So we probably have 5 or 6 different checks in place to make sure that a customer is receiving a good product.
There have to be a lot of mess ups for it to get to the end of the line.
But at the end of the day, we're a used parts company and we have a warranty. So if you do receive a part with any issue, we want you guys to reach out and use our warranty, because we are selling used parts. There is errors sometimes. So we stand behind our products to make sure that you get the right ones that you need. You'll see at every station, they have different computers and whatnot. And so what this does is we're able to real-time add SKU numbers, identification numbers, and barcodes so that we're able to tag the parts as they're getting removed off the machine. So we're constantly adding data to these machines as we tear them down. This is a very labor-intensive process. It takes a lot of man labor to get it done, but they are able to do it quickly and efficiently. We're very data-driven with our custom software. It allows us to process stuff in real time, and which is kind of funny. Most people don't realize this is on any machine, we actually usually throw away about 30 to 40% of the machine right off the bat. And we do that because just because I have, say, 20 of these firewall pieces, I don't need to add another one to inventory. So we just work with our software system to know what we need and what we don't need.
That looks like a fresh engine.
Michael pointed out something very cool. So this is a used engine. So every once in a while we get some used engines that come through and we're able to sell them at a discounted price from our rebuilt engines.
Did you vapor blast that or anything? It looks very, very good.
So we just have different cleaning materials that we use that allows us to return the aluminum back to that shine.
Like aluminum brightener kind of stuff?
Yeah, essentially. Same but different. But we don't see a ton of used engines, but if we do, we are very, very particular about them. And they do come with a warranty on them as well.
I'm assuming that most of them have very low hours.
Yeah, well, and it just has to meet our specs. It's got to meet compression ratio specs. It's got to pass a bore scope to make sure that it still has cross hatching and good internals. And then the oil tells you a lot too. If you drop an oil on an engine and it's black, we're not gonna send it through used because that means somebody hasn't changed the oil. But if it's, you know, got good, clean, and it smells right, I mean, you can tell a lot in your oil by the smell of it, which is not the most common way to do it. Well, yeah, you gotta taste it to make sure it's not synthetic as well, because that's not good. Hey, and you guys can all just do your normal work. Don't worry about us, all right? And if you have a warrant out for your arrest, hide. Okay, so this is our picture process over here. As you can see, they're cleaning up some different products, getting them ready to get them pictured. Depending on the part and the product, we have different ways that we process them. But most of the time, most parts are pictured individually so that they can be listed that way, so that the customer is able to see the physical part that they are purchasing so that they know that they're getting the right product. Between these 3 picture benches, they'll process roughly about 3,000 to 4,000 parts a week. So once a machine is pictured, it's gonna get cleaned up, pictured over here, gets tagged and bagged. It's gonna go over to our warehouse. So we'll just head right over there.
We'll go there.
Yeah, we'll head there. Are you flexing like the whole time?
Nah, bro, it's just me.
So Michael, this is our warehouse, one of our many warehouses. As you can see here, we got some transmissions and different stuff.
A little bit.
Engine cases, a few of them. But this is our money shot. So this is our warehouse. So in here we have roughly about 60,000 parts in here. And they're all barcoded and skewed into location. On the entire property, we have over 100,000 parts in our inventory. So I'm gonna cut that part out about where I said we have 2 different parts of our warehouse, because it's not true.
And the POV thing.
And the POVP. So yeah, this is our main warehouse. So
You gotta redo that.
no.
Pull up contest right now. Dude, right now, dude.
So yeah, in this warehouse, we're constantly adding and removing inventory. Weekly, we pull about 2,500 parts on orders for shipping, and then we're adding about 3,500 parts coming from salvage that come over here. And at the same time, we're constantly removing parts and throwing them away out of the salvage side or the warehouse side, because we're needing to constantly turn our inventory. Because just because we've had something for a year doesn't mean that it's gonna sell.
Right.
So we'll just continue down here. One day I'm sure Michael's gonna build a machine out of parts out of here, but until then, we'll just be able to look at the parts.
I've already been mentally taking notes of which parts I need for my next Banshee, and by Banshee I mean Razor.
Razor, yes, because that's what we're gonna build.
I've seen this for cars, but for Powersports, it's like, it's very cool.
Just trying to make sure that people can keep their machines on the road and on the trail. That was creepy. No one's up there. So yeah, in our inventory, we have lots of different makes and models. Like I said, anything from 1986 all the way to 2022s and 2023s. Like if we go here and dive into a shelf, so we got a KFX 400 here, which I know that you're probably one day gonna rebuild a LTZ 400. It's the same thing, but make sure you put that back. The customer's gonna want that.
It's like, I swear we had a green Alba gas cap.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, so we got anything from like a KFX 400, we got a Big Red 700, a Ranger 700, a Sportsman 570, we got a Razor down there, we got a YXZ.
Are each one of these bins from that specific machine, or is
Yes.
this just all KFX 400
Nope.
parts?
So these are all specific machines.
So you may have more KFX 400 parts, but they're just
Yes.
in a
So
different- okay.
we've found out over the years it's easier to inventory something based on a single location and a single unit, so that at the end of its lifespan, whatever's left after say a year, we can just throw it away.
You know that it's old. You know
Yeah.
when-
So let's look here. This machine, there's not a ton left. It's just some parts and pieces and whatnot, and we tore this apart in April. So this is all that's left from this entire machine from April. So yeah, it just keeps slowly condensing until we know what's left.
all in the system, so you can just look it up. You know exactly which aisle to go.
Yeah,
to.
so if it's in this warehouse, it's on our website. What we'll do is we'll walk up the back side and get up top on the mezzanine, and we can just kind of do a walk around. This is where we keep a lot of our big plastic pieces and wheels and stuff like that, and our tires.
Like, what would you say the percentage of good used tires is? So I would just imagine that a lot of machines come in and the tires are just wasted.
Yeah, so we're very picky. The tires have to at least be 75% or better.
Because these look pretty good.
Yeah, they're all really good tires, and they're all at a very discounted rate on our website at powersportsnation.com. We throw away about 150 tires a week.
How many tires do you stock a week?
Maybe 10 to 15.
Okay, so it is a very small percentage.
Yeah, well, we're just really picky. And at the end of the day, tires are just one of those wear items on a machine of...
Yeah.
And if somebody's going to go trade in a new machine to wherever, they're going to keep their good tires. Okay,
that,
Stan,
like,
make sure you
reverse it?
don't fall. Because I don't want an incident report.
Sorry, I'm getting caught up like looking at
You're
stuff.
good. Just Michael's going to build like 3 4-wheelers about all these parts.
I want to do a Frankenstein one.
We need to do in the comments, should we build a machine completely out of parts? Please tell us.
Scrap bin.
Dude, the scrap bin.
Whatever's like all the stuff
Yeah.
that doesn't sell.
In the comments, you have to tell us if we should build something just completely out of parts. Because we should.
Half side-by-side, half sport quad, half three-wheeler.
What? That doesn't work. So yeah, up here is a lot of our big parts. Like I said, our fender sets, wheels, and all these parts come with free shipping. The only thing we don't ship is something with glass. So if you're buying a windshield, it's a local pickup only, just because, as everyone knows, shipping companies suck and can't trust them. So we have to go through extreme lengths. So we just don't ship glass. But everything else here, if it's listed on our website, is free shipping.
I think you guys must be like one of the only people that offer plastics. Just because of the sheer size.
Sucks to ship. Sometimes we'll sell a fender for $199 and it costs us $175 to ship it. But that's the cost of doing business.
Trying to keep up. I just keep stopping and like looking. How frequently do you throw plastics out? It's like, I think the shelf life can't be
About a year. It just depends because, I mean, some fenders are just unobtainium.
When you say that, you mean very rare, like it's on its
Yeah,
fender?
so like this is a Bearcat 454 fender. This was a 1-year only Arctic, and so I would like it to stay in my inventory even if it doesn't sell within a year because you never know when a customer may need it.
Yeah, not
But
exactly a dime a dozen.
Yeah, but this Ranger 570 hood right here, we probably have 50 of them. So we throw them away constantly.
And you're getting them in.
Yep, and we're rotating them in.
And I imagine it also, like your decision on that would change too. Like let's say this one was like glossy and premium.
Yeah.
Like you'd keep that one and toss out a new one that just came in because I mean, a fresh piece of plastic is obviously going to be something you'd want to.
Absolutely. Yeah, just depending on our inventory and what we have depends what we keep. But we constantly are trying to add different and unique inventory to our inventory so that we keep it current and fresh.
Where's the Tri-Z section?
There is no Tri-Z section. You have all the Tri-Z section.
It's in the back of my truck.
It's in the back of Michael's truck. So Michael, there's where your Tri-Z used to live. Oh, I forgot to show you that. That's literally right where it was. It's right in that front office.
Oh, I did see. I saw. I
The
recognized
spot
it.
right where it's
yeah.
up top, that's where the Tri-Z lived forever. I'm taking my stupid safety glasses
Yeah,
off.
these things are dumb as shit.
Dumb as shit. So from the warehouse, they get orders and they get it all pulled, and then it just goes over here to shipping.
Glad we're out of the safety glass zone.
Yes, safety glasses are no longer required. This is shipping. On any given week, they're probably pulling roughly about 2,500 packages a week. Depending on the sizes, depending on what station they use, whether it's post office, FedEx, Speedy.
Wait, this is all staged. All these boxes are empty. Nothing's actually going on in here.
Yeah, nothing's actually getting shipped. They're constantly bagging, tagging, and getting them out the door, making sure that everything is packaged properly so it arrives to them safely. Most of these engines are on order, so they're all gonna get shipped out today. So we get them ready to go, flame them so that they get covered in plastic. Then we put them in boxes where they...
What does flame them mean?
So we use a special, just a heat shrink plastic, and then we use a propane torch essentially to tighten up the plastic so that it creates a...
It's like a heat shrink.
Yeah, so we call it flaming them. It's not the correct term, but yeah. I don't know, is that gonna get us canceled?
I don't know.
And if you look at the bottom of the engine, they have these mats on the bottom. They're kind of like a diaper.
It looks like an oil mat.
It's what it is. It's an oil mat just because we test our engines before they leave. And so they do have oil in them. You know, obviously we drain as much as we can, but during shipping we need to make sure that it absorbs as much as it can as well.
That's really cool because like I've never ordered an engine. It's neat to see how they would come.
Yeah, and well, we do it different than most companies. We use special boxes. We use triple wall boxes that are very expensive to buy. And then we also foam fill them so that people can send their cores back. Fun fact, FedEx wants to be able to drop any box 6 times from 18 inches, no matter how big the box is.
And how heavy it is.
Doesn't matter. So when you got
I don't know about that, man.
yeah, when you have a $5,000 engine, you have to be able to drop it 6 times from 18 inches on any corner. So we are very particular about these engines, about how they're done.
Stator plate must be removed and replaced with the stator plate from your old engine. Install new O-rings and crank seal provided and reinstall your stator plate. I like that you've got that right on top so it's idiot proof. But I'm sure there's still idiots that do it.
Well, so...
Super idiots, if you will.
And not disrespecting anyone, but sometimes even like myself, I can get in a hurry and completely forget something. Sometimes you just need a reminder.
Yep, we all do it.
It's a cheap insurance for a 15-cent sticker. Yeah, we also have it for all the red caps, because you'd be surprised how many people forget that the red caps are there.
The red, definitely red is the right color for those caps.
Yeah, we once had a customer call us and ask us why his engine had no oil pressure. It's because he left the red cap on it. Couldn't circulate the oil. All of our engines come with a new oil filter, air filter, and spark plug, because you'd be surprised how many customers would put a used spark plug back in a rebuilt engine. Seems impossible, but it is more than possible.
I believe it. It doesn't surprise me.
Or they would put a dirty air filter in an engine that died because it sucked in dirt.
So they ripped out the old engine, saved the air filter, and then put a brand new engine in for that air filter to destroy the new engine.
Yeah, just wasted a $4,000 motor. There's no warranty for that.
Feel bad for this guy. He's like wants nothing to do with this.
Logan?
Like, dude, I'm just trying to work.
Logan has like 18 warrants out for his arrest.
So this is our engine foaming process. So Anna, you're gonna want to come over here. So if you look in here, there's expanding foam.
You got to get in here.
They'll do it a couple of times.
Okay.
So this is expanding foam. So what he's doing right now is kind of creating a donut on the bottom so that once it hardens, that's going to be our basis for the foam. He's already flamed the engine. He's getting ready to put it in a trash bag. This is just another layer of protection. And we do that just because most companies don't like you to have any oil or anything like that. So we're just adding more and more layers. So once he's added that donut, he is now adding more foam to create the secondary layer, and then he's going to end up folding the plastic in. And so what this does is it creates a 2-part system, so when somebody ships back their core, it comes out in 2 pieces. And you'll kind of see as it goes, and it's very hot. He's going to set his plastic bag in there, which is just a trash bag, then grabs his engine, doesn't drop it.
At least not in the video.
Sets it in there. And he wants to make sure it's got equal sides of clearance so that when we add more foam, that it fills in. 5 minutes more of our time here could save $3,000 worth of damage.
Yeah.
Easily.
That is honestly amazing. I know you're doing this like all day long, but like for a regular person, this is just so cool to see.
And the foam is not cheap.
I'm assuming... Is this like a regular practice that companies do, or is this something that you guys develop?
No, for engine rebuild companies, we are the only ones that do this. Most companies will, it's on the customer to ship them in. We don't do it that way, but I've known other people or whatnot, they'll just put an engine in a cooler. Well, a cooler won't really protect an engine like this will. Yep. Yes, is it a cheap and effective way to do it? Yes, but when you're trying to do it at a professional level, this is how we do it.
It's also basically custom per engine because the foam's going to form to whatever the hell you put in there.
So, like I was saying with the cores, so as we're watching this process, it's 2 pieces. You see that? So the bottom piece and the top piece. So when a customer gets this, they open the box, they pull the top piece out, they pull the engine out, and then they put their old engine right back in. And it's already formed to their engine.
Yeah.
So then they don't have to worry about how they ship it or anything like that.
That really is so cool.
He will then add a air filter and any extra gaskets that come with it, a warranty statement, and anything like that that goes with the engine. And then he puts a ton of labels on it with warnings and fragile and all that.
That is so cool.
So yeah, eventually this is what becomes the finished product of the shipping. So they just...
This is one of those things that the criminals look for.
Yeah, high claim item. Yes.
This is like a top. This is choice prize.
Yeah, choice prize.
Yeah.
So yeah, Michael, grab that box and we'll walk out that door.
It's actually really light.
Michael Sabo, our newest employee here at Powersports Nation.
I require a paycheck at the end of this.
22 cents.
22 cents.
So yeah, as it comes out right out here at the shipping department, It goes right out these doors, and it goes directly onto the FedEx truck. So we receive our own FedEx truck every single day.
Chance Williams, I got your back, bro. Not sure what you ordered, but I'm delivering it.
Then it just goes here on the trailer, and away it goes to the customer.
Now I'm a FedEx guy.
Yeah. That's sometimes how they get handled, but that's why we are very proactive on how we package stuff. So we have two sides of our business. We have our salvage department and we have our rebuilt engine department. So we're primarily utilitarian as what we rebuild, and we only do stock rebuilds. We don't do any performance mods or anything like that, just because of how we have our warranties. But this is what I'm going to show you next, is our rebuilt engine department. And so we'll just kind of go through the different processes and stages, but we're going to walk in here first, and this first part is our new parts. So in here we have a couple people, Jessica and Buddha, and so what they do is they are constantly adding inventory into essentially this is another warehouse between all the different parts that they're going to need. So for our engine department, each engine gets assigned engine build list, and so what they do is they take that list and they disassemble out of the engine and then mark what they need. There's certain things that are standard that they get no matter what, but at the end of the day, some things they can still reuse because we have good cores available.
Just looking at this library of gaskets and
yeah,
a bunch of boxes from hot rods, camshafts.
Yeah, we have
pistons,
literally everything in here to rebuild an engine, depending on, even break-in oil. We got spark plugs, like you said, gaskets, pistons, cylinders, cranks, rods, bearings. We got it all. Excuse me, AJ. You want to be a part of the interview? He's got to take a dump. Just take a massive dump. Okay, so we're just going to kind of roll through here. So yeah.
Oh, by the way,
eye protection required.
Yeah.
Cool. You're doing great, Stan. All right. Try not to laugh right now. All right, we'll go this way. And see. So yeah, this is our rebuilt engine department. What they do is they bring an engine in, they tear it down, and then they just determine what it all needs. No matter what, every single engine gets a fresh cylinder and a fresh piston. The head gets reworked, gets all new gaskets and seals, cranks are gone through, all new bearings. We just really have a checklist that we make sure, because we have a warranty on all of our engines as well.
And when you say fresh cylinder, will you sleeve a cylinder, or do you just replace with a whole new OEM block?
So we have our own in-house machine shop, so we'll bore each cylinder. So they'll bore it with new pistons, or if it's a nickel seal cylinder, it'll get sent off. Or if it's a sleevable cylinder, then we'll sleeve it.
So some of these engines that go out may be a bore or two bigger than original.
Correct, but we
they're
never.
Always fresh.
They're always fresh. They always get freshly bored and freshly honed.
Dude, I would really enjoy working in one of these stations. Just having one of these stations would be nice.
Yeah, so this is just a standard Ranger 800 engine. So as you can see, he's got it all laid out. He's got the bottom end assembled. He's getting ready to put the top end in. He's got the different parts and materials laid out, and then the tools that they'll need to reassemble it.
I'm impressed by the organization here. We legit just walked in on this, but I think you told your employees, right, to just regular day at work?
We didn't tell any of our employees that this was happening today.
But I'm just impressed by the organization here. Well, I'm sure you've seen, dude. And I don't know if it's just this guy, but some mechanics, it's like you open the drawer and it's a mix bag. You got to search, and then we have guys like this where everything's laid out really nice.
Yeah, they know what tools they need because they've built this engine 100 times. They know that, hey, I need to soak the head bolts to make sure that they get oil on them. We got to oil bath certain things, so that way when they get down to testing, they're ready to run.
Yeah, I like this a lot. And it's very bright in here too.
Yeah, you got to be able to see what you're working on. And over there, they have engines staged. So those are all different engine orders getting ready to be built. And so that they already have them all staged, so that when the builder brings them in, they just tear down their engine. They already know every single part that they need, and they just build it.
Awesome.
Kind of takes away the guesswork.
Yeah, I can see that.
We standardize a lot of our motors. We grade our cores. So depending if that was they'll rotate it to make sure that it rotates, and then that'll get a grade. Because if it doesn't rotate, that means that there's something catastrophic inside. And so That way they honestly can tell a lot just by simple diagnostics. One thing that's pretty unique about us is we actually test run a majority of our engines. A lot of these engines are going across the country and sometimes across the world. And so you got to test to make sure that they're good to go. Not doubting our build quality, but sometimes there are part failures. Sometimes you can get a brand new part and there could be a failure. We just got to make sure that everything's working properly, that it does have proper oil pressure and all that sort of stuff. So this right here is a Ranger 800. And so this is the test cradle that they'll use to run it with.
Do you run this FMF with flames on it for like all of them?
No, so we, you have, with this, they don't make like any standard dyno. Like people are always like, why don't you dyno your engines? Well, they don't make it for this.
Right.
And so pretty much we're just building all these test run stands. So factory Ranger 800 exhaust would be all the way out here. So we just built this because we had the parts available. But then like they're setting that machine, that's a Honda motor. They're putting that motor in that machine to drive it before it leaves to go to a customer. So when a customer receives it, he knows that it's ready to run.
Right, and then you know if a customer calls and says this engine doesn't run,
yeah.
Well, we tested it.
Well, that too, and then we document it, we do run videos, we do all that different stuff. So if you look at all of our engines, we also have what's called a heat tab. So the center melts out at 250 degrees, and so this is just to cover your ass statement to make sure that if it gets over 250 degrees, it'll melt out that center core.
It's like the back of a shotgun shell.
Yeah, it looks just like that,
primer.
but it's lead, so it'll melt out at 250 degrees. So these guys back here are very instrumental to making sure, essentially they're quality assurance. They just are setting them up to run so that we can make sure that when they go across the country, that they're good to go. So this is our scrap bin for our cores. So you can, usually this is no good.
It's got
a custom oil inspection.
New oil hole, yeah.
Oil hole. Lots of stuff like that.
See, there's a piston that's seized in this one with a piece.
You can pull it out.
With a piece of bent rod. Look at that one. That's money right there. I can't believe you didn't save this.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could have taken that piston pin out.
Yeah. There's got to be some good dropped valve.
Man, these had some scoring in it too. I mean, this was. What do these people do to these engines?
You'd be surprised.
You know what they do? Nothing.
They don't change their oil.
Yeah.
Or clean their air
do
filter.
Nothing to them. It'd be really easy to just wander away from the tour, dude. There's just so much. Like everywhere I look, there's something else.
Yeah.
How you doing?
What's up, Jess? Michael, stay focused. I'm joking.
I need my 4 eyes.
Yeah. You don't need them. I'll leave mine on so that you look cool. Just like our used parts warehouse, we also have our used engine parts warehoused as well. So they're all barcoded and skewed. So depending on your engine, just like this, we have counterbalancers, flywheels, camshafts. They're all barcoded and they're all inspected as well. And these are on our website also. So sometimes on a certain engine, I don't know if you know this, but most engines only have like a 5 to 6 year run. And so after a certain amount of years, they quit manufacturing parts. So we may be the only person that you can get this stator from. But we have it all inventoried based off of part number. So if somebody like you is building a Banshee and you need a 3rd gear, you just find that part number, you throw it into our website, and it'll let you know if we got it or not. But it's all listed on our website and ready to ship. So parts on parts on parts between engine cases, valve covers. If it goes in the engine, we have it. Even down to singular bolts. Because, really? Well, especially, your flywheel nut. That's a specialized size. It's not something you can just go run down to. Well, we're from Nebraska, which is Baumgars or Ace Hardware or somewhere like that. You can't just run and go get that. So right. We have all that stuff in stock. Sick helmet.
That looks like some Mad Max shit right there.
Meth Max. So Michael, this is our machine shop. So in here, safety glasses, please. In here, they do all of our manual machining. So like I was saying before, most of these engines only have like 6 year runs. So they don't make tooling. So just like your broken Corvette, they make tooling to be able to bore the cylinders and rebuild the heads and all that stuff. They don't do that for Powersports. So Jeff is our machine shop. And
I've heard about Jeff.
Oh yeah. So Jeff, this is Michael Sabo.
Yeah, go get me. It's cool, dude.
Good to meet you.
That's usually me with dirty hands, so it's cool.
Okay, we'll restart.
Did you weld my crank?
Yes.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
No problem.
The guys back here are wizards. We call them wizards because they have to figure out how to do things. They have to make special plates to be able to bore special cylinders. They have to be able to hone different stuff, rebuild crankshafts, and rebuild heads. So
I would love to just hang out here for like a week and just learn a couple things.
yeah, you definitely can. Jeff will hang out with you. So what Jeff is even doing right here is, so he is checking the tolerances on these pistons. Just because they say that they're that size on the box does not mean that that's the true size of them. And so they are constantly checking sizes. And even with that, they got to make sure that they're room temperature. So if the piston's too cold, it'll measure a different size, so that they're constantly checking that. So yeah, then they bore cylinders over here, hone them. So a fun little tech tip that if you're ever in the machining world and you're really annoyed with how dirty your fluid is constantly getting, what you can use is you just find a friend with a bunch of flywheels.
That's a great idea.
So it's the magnets on the inside. They will actually take all this steel particles and then they'll collect them.
Those things that look like little barnacles on there.
Yeah.
All steel fragments.
That's all. Yeah, essentially it's steel.
That's a great idea.
So yeah, we were throwing these away, and Jeff was like, "Man, that would help us keep our oil a lot cleaner because it collects all the."
That was your idea, Jeff? That's an excellent idea.
Jeff's a wizard with that stuff.
Yeah, that's.
You wouldn't believe how many tools he's made.
I believe it, man. Yeah, that is awesome.
Well, because they just don't make them. And then this is our head machine over here, and this allows us to rebuild different heads, put guides, repair seats, and different stuff like that. We got a rod hone over there, a crank grinder, and a manual lathe over there. So
you guys can pretty much address any problem that you
yes,
come across.
within reason. Essentially, sometimes it's not worth putting 5 hours of effort to repair something.
Right.
If you can just go grab another one off the shelf, which is kind of a luxury that we have, but we do fix a lot. Because just like I said, how these things only have like a 6-year run.
Yeah.
Well,
it's only so much to work with.
and sometimes engine cases are unobtainium. You can't find them. They just don't exist. So you have to repair.
Yeah.
But as long as you have a professional team like this that knows what they're doing, you can trust the work. So funny story about this room. At one point in time, we used to be able to fit all of our machines we were going to tear down in this room. So we would stack four-wheelers up against the wall on their butts all the way through here, and we'd fit about 50 four-wheelers in here.
50 four-wheelers. You must have had them stacked
No, we
too
did.
high, man.
Yeah, because this was our original building. Chucky on the milling machine?
Yes, sir.
Planing ahead?
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, just finishing it up.
Are you just stealing more shit? With a lot of these heads, a lot of them are single cylinders. They warp really easily. Like you do with just a true stone, this is just 10 times better.
And quicker.
And quicker. Sometimes. When you get a Yamaha head that you have to balance because it doesn't have a flat surface, it's a pain.
Oh,
and
geez.
Chuck, you probably have, 45 minutes of setup time just trying to get a Yamaha head set straight?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes longer.
They can fight you. And so a head like that's real easy. You can just slap it in there and go.
Because it's flat on both
Because it's
sides.
flat. But if it's a Yamaha head, that's where it gets pretty ugly. Yeah.
I see that.
You're good, Chuck.
That's where you might want to get the old stone out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was a good meeting, man.
Yeah, you too. I'll be kicking around.
He'll be back.
For sure.
He has lots of questions.
Hopefully. I didn't get to meet you, man. I'm Mike.
Oh, Charles.
Nice to meet you, Charles.
Yeah. These two guys back here, they're the wizards. I mean, they keep the operation moving. I mean, they do. Because without them, a lot of this stuff couldn't be fixed or repaired.
Yeah.
And you'd have to sub it out. And then you got to wait for somebody else. Where Jeff can fix our ups in about 10 seconds.
There is no such thing as a up when it comes to Jeff because he can fix anything.
Well, it's only metal, and you can either add it or remove it. Just depends how much time you want to give him. Okay, so that's kind of the end of the tour, other than the frame yard. What I was thinking, we'd grab the Razor 900 4-seater. Probably gonna pull
Check
up
the curlant real quick.
We'll put it in the back. Are you okay with it, Ryan?
Curlant looks good.
Okay.
All right. Now, when will this razor see its demise?
As soon as we decide to kill it.
At the end of this video
You
shoot?
might have to slide your seat forward a little bit for Stan.
No, I don't want to have to utilize this oh shit handle during this tour, Cameron. Dude, we should totally. Do you want me to put that microphone on your? Yo, that works actually.
Hello? So we'll just kind of cruise this way, and then we'll end up at the yard, and then we can do our drive around in the yard, and then just showing our inventory, blah, blah, blah.
You're the one doing the tour, man.
Hello. This is our, what we call our frame yard. So this is where we have all of our frames, our roll cages, stuff like that. So some of our frames come with titles, some come with bill of sales. Just depends on the frame, the year, the make, and the model.
My God, dude.
Yeah, I believe out here we have over 2,500 different frames. So between frames and roll cages, we all have them stored outside just because storing them inside would be a nightmare.
Do you have these organized per vehicle, or is it just like inside where it's
just like inside? So you see right there, it's all barcoded and scanned in.
Okay.
So everything's barcoded and scanned in just like everywhere else. It just lives outside. But then we have also a large collection of box beds. So we have them from just the inside liners to complete box beds ready to bolt on. Just depends what it is. So plenty of different frames, different makes and models, but they all come with free shipping.
That's unbelievable.
Yep. So we have all this out here, and then ooh, I made that corner.
That's pretty good, man. I'm just waiting for you to take some of these out. That one was going to be trashed anyway.
Yeah, so we just have a large selection of frames. We measure a lot of stuff as well.
Yeah.
Just, well, if we have any doubts, we have a large selection of inventory that we know is good. So we'll just go out here and measure stuff to make sure that it's good, because if you're spending $2,500 on a frame and we have any doubt in our mind that it's bent, we'll come out here and measure a good one and then go measure that one, because a frame, if you won't know it's bent until you go to install it.
Right.
So why take the chance?
Yeah.
And if we have any doubt in our mind, we'll just throw it away, because it's not worth somebody spending 20 hours trying to put a machine back together and then come to realize it's bent on the right front.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, exactly.
You know, that's a lot of time and energy that people are going to waste.
Something that you find out way, way down the line after all the labor.
Yeah, when you go to bolt the roll cage on and the right front corner is half an inch off.
Yeah.
We don't want that to happen. So this is what we call our yard. So this is everything that's going to be getting brought in to be tore down. In here, you will see plenty of machines that could be saved.
Like this YXZ right
Like
here?
this YXZ sitting right here.
What's the deal with that one?
Nothing. Just bought it to part it out. So you're going to see lots of machines like that, but just know that all of these are going to die.
See if I have something to say about that.
They will all die.
Dude.
So in here we have anything from lifted razor on portals, lots of Rangers, lots of Defenders. We got Rhinos, TRIKES,
man.
Yeah, an old Rhino. I mean, people are still running those machines, so we need parts for them. We got Prowlers, all sorts of stuff. There's a DVX
250.
Yeah, a DVX 250.
That's something you don't see too often.
A lot of Eigers.
Is that a Z400?
Yep. And a Zilla frame.
Really trash.
Yeah, there's a Zilla frame,
wow.
a Viper. So this is just the stuff that's going to be brought in to be torn out.
Brute Force 750?
That's a 650.
Is it a 650?
Yep. Lots of prairies, like where Stan wrecked right there.
People don't realize, like, as a kid growing up, like, and still now, like, scrapyards just fascinate me. But this is like a specialized scrapyard because it's things I actually like. Dude, like that right there, that looks even worse than the Z400 you guys showed me.
Yeah.
Look at it, it's got broken off handlebar. That thing is trashed.
Oh yeah. But there's lots of good parts on it.
Yeah.
So,
well, the engine could be.
well, the engine parts, the cases, you know, you got brake calipers, you got knuckles, tie rods, A-arms.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff on that that could be saved.
Plastics.
And, well, no plastics. But just, it keeps a lot of other machines living that would end up dying because they can't get parts.
For sure.
Yeah, every Friday we would come out here and steal like 3 machines and then go destroy them.
That's awesome, dude.
Not anymore though, because it's all inventory. My uncle had one of those back in
Yeah, dude.
Vietnam. So yeah. And that concludes our tour. Please keep your hands and feet inside the vehicle. It's gonna rain like a son of a bitch.
Thank you.
Also, I think I should just carry a mic with me 24/7. I feel like it
Even though
demands
it's off,
attention.
You'd be like that weird employee, but it's the owner's son, and like, you can't really say anything.
He's a little special.
And you just come out of nowhere, you're like, what'd you say?
Yeah. Let's not record that. And let's not
Too
put that
late.
anywhere.
I hope you enjoyed the tour at Powersports Nation. I tried to keep this a little bit more raw and have some of the unprofessional stuff in there too, because Powersports Nation is real people. Not that other companies aren't as well, but when I first found Powersports Nation, things were on a very professional level. And soon after that, we really became a family. And I don't mean that makes things unprofessional. It's just that there's something about the way that they do their business that really makes you feel like you're part of their family. In case it wasn't clear enough in the video, if you are looking for parts for your side-by-side or ATV, Powersports Nation is a great resource for finding parts. Their website is powersportsnation.com, and by purchasing parts through them, you're also inadvertently supporting me. Behind the scenes, these guys have helped me out so much by providing parts and also by providing machines for me to build on my channel for you guys to watch. So it really is awesome to have the relationship that I do have with Powersports Nation. I'd also like to give special thanks to Hunter, Tristan, and Anna from XP Marketing. These guys were a huge help with professional camera work and organization with making this video. If you or your company is looking for a similar video to this one, you can contact XPM at their website, xpm.agency. I'll have that linked in the description below. To finish out the video, I had a chance to sit down with Todd Dickey. He's the owner of Powersports Nation, and he's got a really interesting story of where the idea for Powersports Nation came about and just the ups and downs and struggles of creating, managing, and owning a business. So I hope you enjoy the interview, and again, thank you for watching my video. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and also consider subscribing. At the end of this video is a teaser for an upcoming video that was a ton of fun to make. All right, guys, enjoy the interview. Todd, there's a lot going on at PSN. I can't imagine this was just like an overnight thing.
No.
We're just like suddenly, you know, big and successful.
Yeah, next year we'll be celebrating our 25th year.
Do you remember like any specific moment in your life where something that one day you just said, this is what I want to do?
Motorcycles were a big part of my life. It was, you know, my whole world was centered around it. So the reason Powersports Nation started, I moved to Norfolk to go to college, ended up sticking around. I thought I'd be here for a year or two and go back to Denver. I didn't. I ended up buying part of a computer store that also became an internet provider. So that was from like 85 to late 90s, and that's when eBay took off. Well, I had 3 young kids, and my wife and I wanted to put them through private Christian education, and it was really expensive. And I wasn't making great money at the computer store. I made a living, but to do that was we're going to require some money. So I went to a conference in Colorado, a computer conference, and my wife and I had been vacationing there the year before, and I'd gotten a flat tire beside the road and nobody would stop for me. So I made a promise to myself, if I ever saw anybody stop, I'd stop and help them. So I'm in the eastern part of Colorado, which is like the Sand Hills. It's not very exciting. Gal with a really clapped out car is beside the road, and I pull up and look at it, and she doesn't have a spare. And, you know, it looked kind of sketchy, the car. And I said, do you want me to give you a ride to somewhere where I can get a tire? And she said, yeah. And she says, but go this back way, it's over this way. And I'm thinking she's gonna take me and get me rolled by her boyfriend or something. And we're driving by a John Deere dealership. The dealership, they had a trailer. They pulled all their lawnmowers out on one trailer. Well, on the end of it was a Honda CT70 with the little bars. They were real popular in the early 70s. That's what a lot of kids learned to ride on. And I saw it and I said, hey, do you mind if I stop in here? I think she's sort of thinking the same thing. So she calls a friend or a girlfriend and they come pick her up and she's gone. I buy that motorcycle for I think $600. I put it in the back of my Nissan 2-wheel drive pickup and come home and start looking at it, obsessing about it. It was really, really nice. But in those days, you put things on pure auction on eBay. So I started at 99 cents. It ended up selling for like $2,200. So I was hooked. Jeez. But in the middle of it, while it was listed, which you should never do, I was letting the kids ride it around the cul-de-sac. And I was trying to teach my wife how to ride with it because they have an automatic clutch. But if you hold the shifter in the wrong spot, it like slips it. Yeah. So she does that, hits the mailbox, bends the fender, thankfully doesn't scratch.
While people are bidding on it?
Yeah. Yeah, God taught me a lesson that, you know, get things done, get them done right, or they won't sell. But I remember another time of selling a Yamaha FJ 1200 sport bike. I took pictures so you couldn't see the seat cover, and it needed a seat cover. So it sold, made good money. Needed a seat cover, but you want to warm the seat covers up to make sure they're pliable. I decided to microwave it. That's not a good idea. Instantly melts. Have to overnight another seat cover. I mean, that was just kind of the story of my early days of business. Did it on the side for a long time. My best friend growing up, who you met last night, his family owned a Yamaha shop. And so my lifeblood was going to hang out at their shop. I remember getting a job putting bicycles together and then help putting motorcycles together. They were amazing family friends, and I just was an observer of things, and I asked the mom, who was the parts lady, and her name was Betty Budke, and she was 5'0" and had a temper when she was mad. But I asked her one time, could you build a bike from parts? And she said, yeah, it would cost you 4 or 5 times more. And, you know, probably did that as a 9, 10, 12-year-old kid, and then just filed that away. And then later on, that became the basis for my business. A lot of good businesses, they start in your garage. It started in my garage and then slowly, step by step, grew. But it was about 10 years before my wife could park back in the garage, just because it was a disaster. It was just crazy.
A whole bunch of blue tubs.
Oh yeah, and I think we still have that deep freeze somewhere. And that was my shipping bench, my pitcher bench. Used to go scavenge boxes. There was a company in town that built lawn equipment, and they would buy Honda engines, the 5-horse engines, to put on them. And those Honda boxes were great. So literally part of my week was going around and finding boxes, because I didn't want to buy boxes. I hadn't learned that yet.
I can relate, man. I'll gotta start somewhere. Obviously, it's come quite a long way since then. Seeing the boxing process that you guys have over there for engines was super impressive. Pretty much everybody in your family works for Powersports Nation, correct? And you've got 3 sons. Yeah,
Ian doesn't. He's starting his own business, but he had worked for me at some point, yeah.
But he's definitely Powersports Nation blood. I mean, his race car is plastered with Powersports Nation and everything. And
well, I'm a pretty good sponsor of him. Try not to be the bank of dad. But yeah, I am incredibly blessed that all of my kids like Powersports. Even my grandson loves anything with a motor. I mean, he was at a party, he's a year and a half old, but he was at a party with bounce houses and slip and slides, and there's a Polaris Ranger over there. He wanted to go sit in the Polaris Ranger.
That's awesome.
And get a ride. So yeah, pretty proud dad and grandpa moment to know all my kids are involved, and my grandson seems interested in what we do.
And is that the future of Powersports Nation, do you think?
So I view all of the teammates, employees of Powersports Nation are part of the future. Obviously, I hope to figure out a way that it mutually benefits everybody, and that the employees feel safe as I transition some of that leadership. We have more of a executive team now, which my son Cameron's part of.
Isn't Diane a part of it too?
Well, she actually owns more than me. So Diane owns...
Should I be interviewing her? Right?
I asked her, and I thought about it. She owns 53%. We did that for some tax reasons. Yeah, she's always been a huge believer in me. In the early years, she worked answering the phone and taking payments. She loved saying she took men's money every day and was glad to do that because they'd have to pay for the part.
Was there ever a time when you thought, you're going to throw in the towel and go back to building computers, or just...
Well, I remember when we started out, I was horribly undercapitalized. I went full-time right after Y2K, once the world didn't end. There was a December one year where they came to shut off my power and my gas at home, and I had to come home and talk to my wife.
This was like 2 years into Powersports Nation.
Yeah, just horribly broke. Through my church and another person, it was probably the best Christmas we've ever had. We were flat broke. People paid our bills. They brought us gifts. Somebody bought my kids a PS2, and they thought that was the best thing since sliced bread. They didn't really feel the effects of it, but Diane and I did. Powersports Nation has Feeds a lot of people. A lot of people really enjoy it. I have some employees that it's just a job, but the ones that, you know, see it as a career, I feel entrusted that Diane and I want to make sure that we are one of the best places to work, try to have the best benefits. You know, you see a lot of smaller power sports shops struggle with employees, struggle to give benefits. There's a lot of people would like to do it, they just can't quite figure out how to make a good living, and I think we figured that out.
Yeah, I think you've done a great job. On a regular basis, what's the hardest challenge that you overcome on a regular basis?
Me.
You?
Yeah, I can be my own worst enemy. I told you of some of my childhood struggles and what that brought, and so sometimes I'm not really great at trusting people, although I should. I mean, I've got amazing, amazing, talented people, way more talented than me. They don't let me ship anymore, never parted out, obviously can't rebuild an engine, but I can have vision of where we're going. And I mean, I never ever thought we would get this big, and I don't think we're done growing.
And now, speaking of growing, do you have any big things on the horizon?
Just being more mainstream, working on our processes. You know, in our little niche of the industry, we're the big dog, and that's it's fun, but it's also, if you don't stop growing, you're dying or somebody's coming for you. Like you told me, you have your hit list. You know, I'm sure I'm on somebody's hit list.
Probably, but hopefully they never get it. So I know you're super passionate about motorcycles and power sports in general. Have you come across any one specific machine that was super special to you, or is there one that you'd like to come across?
I told myself I couldn't collect anything to keep till I was out of debt. Well, I'm still kind of in debt. If you're in business and you have property, you're in debt. But I'm more passionate about making memories. I don't want my kids to worry about dad's bike collection, because yeah, that's fun for people to look at and stuff. But I'm more about making memories. I want to go racing with my boys or riding with whoever. That's what I want to do more of, is make memories and meet people. I love hearing bike stories, and you know, being around power sports people are the best people I know. It's a commonality that lets you share stuff. The Tri-Z was pretty special to me because I always wanted one. And I got it, and it sat up on the shelf for a long time, and a lot of people tried to buy it, and I said, no, it's not for sale, which is not very normal for me to say something's not for sale. You know, I think it was really providential that you have it, and then by doing it, you developed a passion, and now it's yours.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you mentioned racing. So there is Powersports Nation at the racetrack too, correct?
I've always struggled a little bit with racing because from a dollar standpoint, it never makes sense. But from a relationship standpoint and making memories, it's great. It forces you to go, because otherwise you kind of it's a round two at time. I should go do that. I should go do that. Well, yeah. If you don't set it that you got to go, you'll make some excuse. And so I've enjoyed racing from that standpoint. I've really enjoyed seeing my boys grow, because take care of your own race car. My boys wrench on all their own stuff. I don't have a mechanic do it for them. They do all their own stuff. And when you're in the busyness of trying to get it done, or you're broke on the track, it teaches them to be resourceful.
Yeah. Todd, what would you say is the biggest takeaway from all of this? Like, if you could look back and had a chance to go back and do your life entirely differently, would you still do Powersports Nation? And what would be the biggest takeaway from the experience that you've had with Powersports Nation?
I believe I'm in an amazing spot. I have an amazing life with I know what I would do. So because of some of the things in my life, sometimes I worry too much about business and wasn't present with my kids as much as I could be. And so, for other people who are thinking about business, make sure you take care of your family. Make sure you spend time with them, because you only get so many hours, or they only get so many hours with you. And, my kids had to, deal with a lot, but, they're blessed, they understand, but I could have did that better. I wished I'd have did it better. I wished I would have sat my laptop down and, didn't look at it at all times. So, in the early years of my business, my laptop was like the modern day cell phone, you know. Be present with the people you're with, make memories, do things. Don't worry about somebody else, worry about yourself. Don't edit your life in front of people, just be real and make memories and have fun. And I feel like I got a lot of time left to do that with my kids. Racing does that, riding does that. I'm always mad at myself if I don't get a ride, because that, to me, growing up and in adulthood is one of my, you know, other than my wife and family, is really, really joyful to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if there's anything I've observed, and I've told your sons, it's that I really just appreciate how family driven it is here. And we're here at your home. You know, we're not actually at Powersports Nation right now. And I've been lucky enough to be invited and actually see the home side of what you've built here. And I think that's what I would say I'm most admire, is how family driven, and all your boys are here. They're all getting along. I can see sometimes, you know, not everybody gets along, but the fact that everybody's here and Diane's in there making big family dinners for everybody, I think you've done a pretty damn good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and thank you for doing this interview and everything.
Well, I'm most excited that the Tri-EZ lives on and lives better, and I hope a lot of people get to see it. Three-wheelers aren't what I do anymore, but it led to what I do, and that I'm passionate about. And I'm really passionate about people getting out and experiencing. You got to start somewhere. It's like you and I talked. We were looking at some of your earliest videos, and you were cringing, but you started.
Don't go back and watch them.
And we edit our life. You know, people say, man, I'd like to be you, Michael, or I'd like to be me. I don't know. But you've worked 10,000 hours of working your ass off, and you became an expert because you keep editing your life. You keep learning, constantly learning. And that's what I tell people is, you know, don't try to imitate me. Don't try to imitate you. Be who you are, but take a step. Just do it. You know, stop doom scrolling on your phone. Stop watching Netflix as much, you know, starting little by little. I'm on kind of a health journey. Would I like to be in a lot better shape? 100%. But I got to start with where I'm at and work my way towards it. And I don't know, I'm thrilled when I look at that machine and what you did with it, because, you know, we always joked that it was restored for 50 feet. You know, it looks good at 50 feet, but don't get close.
A 50-footer.
But now it's, you know, infinitely closer, other than the fender you wrecked. But
we'll talk about that later.
It's a story, it makes an adventure. But I hope that you use it to create conversations. I heard, you know, all the people that approach you. I mean, I told you your video the final video, and I was watching all of them, and of course I had a lot of interest because it was our machine, but you have a really special gift because you're able to help people see the process. You're able to take input. You're never the expert. You're always constantly learning. You're showing, and people like that. That's real approachable, and I think you're giving a lot of guys courage to start with something. The first one may not be pretty, but you know, look where you've been able to come.
Yeah, very true. And I don't know if this is going to be in the interview, but I just wanted to say that is a prime example of what really does set you apart from other people in my life. Is, you know, this is an interview about you. And somehow you've turned that around to encourage me. I feel like you just like a father figure in a lot of ways. But Ian and I were talking last night, and I think I'd like to leave it here and maybe boost it back up where it was. Because I said a lot of people have been asking about. I think at least for a little bit.
No, I'll store it temporarily, but I don't want to keep it. It's yours. You did all the effort. Never would have happened without you. Never. You have a special skill. I have a skill. I can't do that, but I can appreciate somebody who does. And that deserves to be seen out where people would really appreciate it. So it could stay here for a little bit, but it's never going to stay here long term.
All right, we'll meet in the middle at that then.
Well, we'll see.
All right, cut. It's getting too emotional.
That was fun.
Thanks, Todd.
Well, guys, as you can see from the interview, Todd is quite a sentimental guy and he enjoys making memories. So don't think for a second I drove all the way to Nebraska and didn't make some awesome memories with the guys from Powersports Nation. Hell no, we took a Ranger 900 from the yard at Powersports Nation that was ready to be parted out and put it head to head with a brand new Powersports Nation racing side by side. We definitely added a few twists to make the competition at least a little bit fair for the Ranger. Here's a teaser. If you guys enjoyed the video, please remember to give it a thumbs up and I will see you in the next one. Peace out. Team businessmen who race are here to take on Powersports Nation Racing. We've got old versus new here. Actually, really, it's farm equipment versus like a legit race car. Now, the first competition is going to be the burnout competition.
I guess here goes nothing. That's all she wrote.
The breakfast bowl battle. Fastest team with the most amount of cereal at the end wins.
Oh, I gotta get my seatbelt on. Bro, I'm sick.
I think there's only one way to settle this, a race.
Oh,